Hello, and welcome again to Joe Macaroni Explains It All. I'm going to talk about a couple of interesting words today. Optimism and pessimism. More than just words, they're concepts. They mean very different things. I'm Joe Macaroni, and this is Joe Macaroni Explains It All. Some people say an optimist sees a glass half full, and a pessimist sees a glass half empty. But there's much more than that. Let's see what that could be. What is Murphy's Law? A good place to start. Murphy's Law says Murphy was an optimist, but all of his laws state the opposite. And in a sense, that is us. We want to be optimists, but so often we regress to being pessimists. Optimism is a disposition to look on the bright side. Macaroni is an optimist. He is always optimist. Or else I go crawl in a hole. Pessimism, on the other hand, is a tendency to see the worst side of things. For example, the glass half empty. The great hope of this world is that we are all optimists and not pessimists. Let's talk about optimism and pessimism. As the song goes, spread sunshine all over the place. So put on a happy face. That's an optimist. Isn't that the best? A happy face, but without an emoji. Happy face, smiling face, and optimist face. An optimist believes in himself when no one else will, and keeps believing. An optimist doesn't walk or even run after success. He chases it. An optimist doesn't see the glass half full. He sees it all the way full. An optimist replaces I wish with I will. A pessimist, on the other hand, sees the worst or sees nothing at all. An old saying that Macaroni likes to use, and he uses often. There are three kinds of people in this world. Those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who say, what happened? In a nutshell, optimists make things happen. Pessimists watch things happen, and worse, they say, what happened? Let's continue. Let's look again at optimism and pessimism. So what does it mean to be an optimist? And how do I become one? Here are some simple maxims to becoming an optimist. Number one, pay attention. Yes, pay attention to all that is good, beautiful, and happy in your life and your life around you. It's the place to start. If you want to be an optimist, you have to feel good about yourself. And the best way to feel good is to look for and accept good in yourself and what is around you. As you do, your attention can transform into action. And action is the basis of success, my friends. Think about it. Pay attention. If you don't take action on how you can get from point A to point B, it's almost impossible, wouldn't you say? Macaroni would. You need to take action if you want to be successful. Don't sit on your hands. Don't say I can't do it. That's for pessimists. Maxim number 1 morphs into maxim number 2. These are down-to-earth, no baloney ideas that you could stick in your mind and in your brain. That's an optimist brain. Get to it. I can do it. So number 2, know yourself. You can't be an optimist because someone else wants you to be. And you can't be an optimist unless you want to be. Ask yourself this simple question. Do I want to look to the bright side of life? Just that? Do I want to look to the bright side of life? Do I want to look to the bright side of life? If the answer is yes, then you're on your way to becoming an optimist. Is your energy equal to your desire and purpose? Can you muster up, I'm on my way because I know I can do it. I have the zeal, I have the drive, I have the ambition, and the energy to get what I want. And what do I want? My purpose, my goal, my happy place, because I have that special desire to succeed at what I am doing. My energy and my desire love each other, and they are working together to achieve my purpose. The optimist knows he or she must bring energy and desire to what they want to accomplish. A pessimist may have energy or desire or purpose, but doesn't use energy and desire to follow through to purpose. This is a major difference between an optimist and a pessimist. Number 3, expect to be happy, not sad. It's so easy to feel sorry for ourselves. It's only human nature. But if we stay there, optimism flies away. You have to tell yourself to be happy, even in the face of adversity, illness, and bad moments. And of course, we will and do experience sadness. It can't be avoided, can it? But the pessimist tries to overcome the sadness, even if it takes a while. The pessimist will wallow in it, becoming sadder and more pessimistic. It's a tendency to see the worst side of things. You know, there is a difference between we take whatever we can get and we get whatever we can take. Which is the optimist? Which is the pessimist? Macaroni is the optimist who gets whatever he can take. Now, it's easy to think that way, but that's how an optimist thinks. The optimist wants to share his happiness and his high spirits that happiness brings. So, an optimist will take, who gets whatever he can take. I'm sure there's always a chance that we take what we are given, and surely a chance to slip into pessimism. Macaroni knows this all too well. Pessimism has knocked on Macaroni's door many times with difficulties sometimes too scary or too harsh. Like, am I going to see combat in this war, or will I not get the call? For the record, Macaroni served, but never saw combat. But with that on my mind, it was easy to be pessimistic about would I live to a longer life, or am I doomed at 23 and leaving behind a wife and a child? And like you, there are so many times when pessimism came calling, and we couldn't shake it. But if we want to say bye-bye to pessimism, we have to embrace optimism and say, hello there, optimism, here I am. Number 4, think positively. Once you start thinking negatively instead of positively, you are on the fast lane to pessimism. Simply put, an optimist says, I can do it. A pessimist says, I can't do it. Can't do it is the easy way out. In Macaroni's life, he started many successful businesses, but also some dogs, some real failures. But that is the most assuredly the time to step over the hole and not step in the hole. Don't be afraid to fail. Babe Ruth struck out 1,330 times, but he also hit 714 home runs. In short, a pessimist worries about failure. Worry should be reserved for the chances you missed by worrying. We need to say, do. Optimism is the optimum, the best place to be. It is important to think positively about our state of mind. There are so many books and other writings about thinking positively, but the simplest way to think positively is to always try to be optimistic. It's not that easy, but it's the best course of action we can take to be the best we can and to be happy. When Macaroni was in high school 100 years ago, I ran track. Before every race, I always thought positively, no matter who the opposition was. I was a varsity member of the team. I competed in whatever events the coach wanted me to. It could be long distance, it could be sprint or hurdles. Whatever it was, I did it. And I always thought positively that I would win. But I never did. However, I never failed to place, getting a second or a third, accumulating points for my team. I thought positively, and while I didn't reach the moon, I always landed on a star. What I lacked in talent, I made up for in positive thinking. That's called optimism. Number 5, trust in yourself and your intuition. What is intuition? Well, in a sense, your judgment. Do you trust yourself? And much of how your intuition and your judgment works is based upon your experience. And experience differs from person to person. And a great deal depends on our age. Age 15 is quite different from age 50 experience. But experience is also relative. The 15-year-old optimist tells himself he will make the football team. The 50-year-old optimist tells himself his new business will be successful. You have to trust in yourself. Macaroni always told himself that he would be successful in his endeavors. Macaroni is truly and definitely an optimist. And to look ahead, another name for judgment, which is based upon your experience, is what? It's simply wisdom. The wisdom you have gained through your trust in yourself. Your intuition based on experience. And the knowledge, however much you have, and the judgment you are able to make based on your experience and intuition. For the optimist, wisdom is a critical factor. Not so much for the pessimist. Be an optimist. It's more fun and better for you in so many ways than being a pessimist. When we talk about optimism and pessimism, one of the best things we can do is dig a hole in our brain and bury optimism. So the 5 maxims are: pay attention to yourself and the world around you. Know yourself and the bright side of life. Expect to be happy. Try to stay away from sadness and discouraging thoughts. Think possibly. I can do it. I know I can. And number 5, trust in yourself and intuition. Knowledge can be the result. Wisdom can be the result. We don't need pessimism in our lives. It makes a bad day worse, doesn't it? It makes a bad day worse. Say no to pessimism. You won't win every time, but if you try, you will be much more of an optimist. Macaroni is optimistic. You will be an optimist too. Be an optimist. Thank you for joining me again today, folks. I appreciate you spending your time with me. This is Joe Macaroni. Joe Macaroni explains it all. Till next time, goodbye.